everybody, I'm Ryan, and today we're going to look at nuances in Lotus Field / Hidden Strings combo in Pioneer. Now, we've talked about the overall strategy of the deck, the card choices, sideboard guide, how to build the deck, flex slots, all of that stuff. But today we're going to talk about weird things and play patterns in the deck that is important to point out, especially if you're just picking up the deck or you feel like you're still losing with the deck even though you're playing with it a bunch. And I'm going to start off with more obvious ones and then move on to less obvious ones. First off is make sure you're tapping the right colors on your Lotus Field so you can eventually cast the cards that you plan on casting. You kind of have to plan out your turn very often. More than once have I been playing against a Lotus Field combo player and they can't cast the Emergent Ultimatum in their hand because they just tapped for wrong colors. That being said, if you aren't really sure about your line and you don't know what colors to tap, blue is always a pretty safe choice, but really you should be thinking about it. Remember, Archdruid's Charm can be a part of lines that go multiple phases. So if you want access to your graveyard, you can grab Archdruid's Charm. You can play Archdruid's Charm to grab Leer to then be able to cast these cards in your graveyard, or maybe a more common line is Archdruid's Charm to grab Fae of Wishes to eventually be able to grab the Approach to the Second Sun out of the sideboard. Just Archdruid's Charm is almost always a multiple step process, especially when you're grabbing creatures out of your deck. There's a lot of ways to combo kill with the deck. The most common one is making a bunch of mana through untapping the Lotus Fields, in some fashion, Emergent Ultimatum into even more mana and grabbing Approach to the Second Sun from the sideboard and then just like casting it twice. But if you play Chandra Hope's Beacon, there's some other ways to combo. Specifically, if you have like Omniscience, Chandra Hope's Beacon, and 3 Balaged Recovery is a loop and infinite mana, which is awesome. It's remember post-sideboard, it's totally okay to cast Vizier of Tumbling Sands to be able to untap your Lotus Field like on a whim, because your opponents are going to sideboard out some number or sometimes all of their removal, and having it on the battlefield is kind of just better. That being said, it's almost always incorrect to do that in game 1 because they have the removal in the deck and you should probably just cycle it. If you happen to have sideboarded out one of the Balaged Recoveries or have it exiled and are playing the Chandra version, there's actually a way to combo with Chandra as well, with 2 Balaged Recoveries and Ottawa Sorin City to like bounce the Chandra and be able to replay it. This one is not infinite mana, but it can get you to 20 damage. Remember, you can cipher Hidden Strings onto Strict Proctor or Vizier, especially onto the Strict Proctor. It happens a lot. And speaking of Hidden Strings, remember it can tap down your opponent's lands too, especially if you're afraid of counter magic or something like that. Tap down your opponent's lands, go to second main phase, and then kill them while your opponent can't interact with you. When you cast Emergent Ultimatum, normally your pile is going to be Omniscience, Dark Petition, and Pour Over the Pages. However, sometimes if you're afraid of not being able to fully combo and your opponent has a really good board presence, it is correct to go Pour Over the Pages, Dark Petition, Sunfall, or a board wipe or something to interact. And then lastly, to go back to Strict Proctor, generally you don't want to run out Strict Proctor on turn 2. You really want to be able to combo it with Lotus Field. So try to play Strict Proctor the same turn you're going to play Lotus Field normally on turn 3. And there are a lot of the play patterns and nuances that might not be super obvious with the Lotus Field deck. If you like this video and want to see more videos like this, please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on social media. Links are above me and in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.